Hi, everyone, and welcome to Accelerate Your Finance. It is an awesome joy to have you all in the conversation room, dialing in from different many cities and countries of the world. And that shows how important the topic we are about diving in is to us all. I do not take this privilege for granted in any way. So today we are ready to dive right into the conversation about building wealth with confidence and being able to unleash the framework and the strategies that can help us to build wealth with some level of intentionality and also some healthy habits. So, today's session promises to be highly transformational and also pragmatic in approach. We're going to be dissecting the concept of finance in the most basic way. And I tell you, even if you have a three grader in the room, they will be able to understand what we are talking about. Nothing too big, quite basic in the way that we will be able to all interact and enjoy the learning environment. So, I will encourage you to get a very quiet space in your house or in your wherever you are dialing in from, maybe in your car, in a coffee shop. Just look for a cool spot and get yourself a writing material, which can be electronic or your physical journal, and be ready to immerse in today's session. A little bit about me. I think this slide has done a pretty good job, so I'm not gonna go over these all over again. I think this is just to let you know the several many cap and the hearts that I've won in time past. That makes me quite passionate about this kind of conversation we are going to be having today. So, in today's masterclass, we will be actually trying to establish the very purpose why we have to confront the concept of wealth building at home, because I know that as adults many a times we want to shy away from the reality of wealth building, making money, um, how we doing in terms of net worth? Are we improving? Are still things standing as status quo? Many adults fear really having, they're scared of actually sitting down and having frank money conversations. And the truth of the matter is that as much as you rank the your health wellness, whether physical health or mental health, I tell people it is important for you to also rank your financial wellness in that capacity. Why? Because money is at the center of virtually everything that we do. And when you don't take care of the reality of how money is pivotal in your life, it kind of also introduces some level of stress, which can impact on your physical and mental health. That said, today's conversation will be covering how the world is shifting faster than ever, which is one of the major reasons why we have to have this conversation. Gone are the days when you can probably feed the entire family and do your monthly grocery with $100. I could remember when I newly relocated to Canada, which was not a very long time ago. If I go to Walmart, I can actually have a full cart with just about 170, $180. Today, with $500, I'm definitely going to be struggling with that. And like I said, it's not even up to 10 years, barely about 5 years ago. So that tells you that the purchasing power of money is reducing every day. And so, what $100 can do 10 years ago, it can't do it today. So, that said, that reason is at the center of um, reason why we have to sit down to have this conversation about how to accelerate our finance. Also, cost of living keeps rising with no sign of slowing down. And I mean, there was a time people would be like, oh, there are certain continents that are quite stable. Inflation is not that serious there. And I think everybody is feeling the heat all over the globe now. It's just that the level of cushion might just be a little different. So, that said, I'm not sure there is any safe haven anywhere in the world where you can say that the economy is totally protected. So, that said, there is a need for you to fix your own personal economy, which is the reason you have to elevate and accelerate your finance. Also, income levels are staying the same while expenses do really climb. So here is the whole gist. I know of people that have been on the same job for about 10 years now, and materially, they don't even have more than $5,000 increase. And even that 5,000 or that 10,000 that you call increase, by the time you factor in inflation, you will know that they are not like really better off. So there is a need for us to define our wealth quotient beyond what comes in, maybe every month or twice a month. So it is also important for you to stay ahead. You don't need to cope. You need to accelerate. Like I said, a lot of adults find it very difficult to have frank conversation when it comes with money. So they would rather be like, hey, let's cope. Let's just try here and there to see what adjustments we can make to go by with life. But here's what I love to tell people. It's not all money problems that you can solve by cutting costs. If you're somebody that you barely earn what is enough to take care of your basic expenses. And by your basic expenses, I mean your housing, your feeding, and also like your clothing. So if you're not making more than that, it will be difficult for you to be able to make any spending adjustment to be able to have a healthy finances, because at that point in time you don't even have a spending problem. You basically have an earning problem. You are earning too low to be able to accommodate a margin of safety between what you earn and what you spend that you can now deploy towards saving or investment drive. So that is one of the reasons why we are having this conversation, to be able to help you dissect which of those problems do you have. If it's about earning problem, then the only solution to it is that you've got to discover how to make more money. Because if you like, no matter what you can do, you can use cut costing strategy to be able to leap your finances. So here are the transformation promise that I'm bringing for you within this couple of minutes. 45, 50 minutes thereof that we're spending on this webinar. You'll be able to, at the end of this session, clearly define your financial goals that truly resonate with you, right? And I know that so a lot of adults have turned financial goals to cliche just because your friend says this, your mentor often use the slogan, and there is nothing personal to you regarding the financial goals that you are running by. If you say that you want to be able to make $500,000 monthly, what is motivating that goal? And what are the kind of actions that you can put together to become that person that has the capacity of earning $500,000? Not because my coach said it, not because my friend said it, not because um, everybody in my circle believe that it is possible. So you will get to the level in which you are able to define the financial goals that can propel you towards where you want to be financially. You will also be able to understand exactly how much effort and action you require to be able to reach your financial destination. Another thing you will be able to do at the end of the session is to harness the power of 90 days focused habits to kind of help you. It will give you that push, it will give you that leap towards where you want to be. And of course, it will help at the end of the session. You'll be able to identify the key financial levers that will accelerate your wealth building journey. Isn't that awesome? I'm getting excited already for what we are about to dive into. So let's start by trying to understand what are really financial goals? And in a very simplified way, I would like to talk about financial goals as those specific money targets. Right. They are money targets because they are financial. They are just not any generic goals. That's kind of like guide how you earn money, how you spend money, how you save money, how you grow finances over a period of time. So they are like regulations that you have put in place to be able to help you in all of these areas of finances that we just mentioned. And these are some of the common relatable financial goals that you must have heard people set for themselves. Oh, I want to become debt free by March 2027. Oh, I want to increase my total income by $2,000 in another 3 months. So you will have heard pretty much um, goals that look like this. But what is important today is not about going into the framework of setting goals that are specific, smart, actionable, realistic, yada yada yada. No, we're not going to all those kind of conversation today, but we are going into like the very practical sense of when you set these goals, what are those ingredients or elements that are necessary that you have to acquire? What is that step in your becoming that can propel you towards achieving that goal, that can make you become that person that has the capacity of turning those goals into reality? And that takes us to the very first step, which is you identifying your current baseline. You can be talking about who you want to be in the future without having the realization of who you are today. So, your current financial baseline is the starting point, um, which answers the question, what is my current financial reality? It's asking you today, who are you? How much are you earning per month? Out of that amount that you're earning monthly, what are you saving? What are you investing? That's your starting point. And you could use any of these matrices to be able to take your baseline. You could use profitability. You could use your earning. You could even use, what you cash flow every month. So that baseline is important to where you are going. You can be somebody that is earning 1,500 bi-weekly, 3,000 a month, and suddenly you're saying that in another 2 months you are projecting your financial goals is to now start making 1 million per month. It doesn't work that way. Such thing does not exist in reality. They'll probably be in the realm of dreams. These are not motivational talks. We're talking about the fact that from where you are now to where you want to be, there are commensurable actions that will lead you there. It's just not cliche. It's not just fanciful words. It's not wishful thinking, which takes us to another concept to talk about. After establishing what your current state is, which we had called your financial baseline, we now want to understand your desired state. Your desired state answers the question, what kind of financial life do I truly want to build? Do you know that we have some people today that currently they might be maintaining life with, let's say, about $50,000 a year, and they might have the dream that in retirement they want to live better. So they might be postulating or targeting or having a financial goal of saying that I will double that number in retirement. So it's truly asking that question, that what financial life do I truly want to build? And we can have another person saying that in retirement, I think I will probably just like trim down, nothing too fancy in retirement, just something basic. And this will tell you the reason why financial goals, two individuals' financial goals cannot look exactly the same, because we are people of different horizon, outlook, and there are a lot of elements that builds together and that is tied to this variable that makes it just beyond just saying that because Stone were born the same year, this is a financial goal, then I can probably just take an hybrid of it. Oh no. So you have to be able to have the idea of what exactly do I want my future to look like, and also understanding where you are. So that takes us to a concept of financial gap analysis. When you take your financial baseline, you get to the level of what I love to define by acronym as CFS, current financial state. Then for your future, you come to the level of understanding your desired financial state, which I love to call DSF. The difference between the DSF and the CFS is the gap analysis. And definitely that gap analysis, the gap between where you want to be and where you are currently, becomes your financial plan and strategy. It becomes those action plan. That's your roadmap. If you recall the analogy I use the other time, on the continuum of point A, you're currently earning $3,000 per annum. On the next continuum of where you want to be is that $1 million. If you take the difference between both, are your financial plan strategies and action point looking that like it can be realizable, or is it realistic within that time horizon of 2 months that you have set for yourself? Right. So, and that's the reason this conversation becomes pretty interesting, because every individual journey is now kind of like peculiar. Is it okay to dream? Yes, it's okay to dream, but you've got work to do, because the distance between your home point A and point B is what requires the amount of distance to cover. And that determines the kind of vehicle you want to use to travel that distance. So that leads to that concept and the discussion and the conversation we are having about accelerate your finance, which is the speeding up your journey from where you are financially to where you want to be. Pretty much. That is the center of us accelerating our finance. So it is the process of closing your financial gaps faster. Remember the other time that I said between 3,000 to a million can be a wide gap, but you can do it 10 times faster if you have the right blueprint, the right action that propels you towards it. And it doesn't mean that it's going to be an overnight work, no. But that repetitive pattern, if you stay consistent on it, you are definitely going to hit it. And that's the reason we say faster by taking deliberate, strategic, and disciplined actions that move you towards your goals with greater momentum. A whole lot we have compressed together in describing what accelerate finance actually is. So you can ask me again that why do we need to accelerate? All of the reasons I gave to you at the beginning of this conversation are the reasons why you have to accelerate your finance. I mean, and we can have people that be like, okay, I'm okay where I am. I don't even need to transfer money to the next generation. The next generation can take care of themselves. What about the fact that there is nowhere in the world where a single income, a mono income, or a paid employment is sufficient, or even having what we call security? Security no longer exists. So sometimes you might need to accelerate your finance as a matter of necessity because of how highly volatile the world is. Somebody can be like, oh, I had $300,000 from my paid employment. I'm doing pretty fine. Okay, I hear you, but what if something happens to the job? What if? There can be a whole lot of what if. And so the rule of the game and part of accelerating your finance might be that you want to achieve financial independence, or you want to achieve financial freedom, which is the level you get to that you don't have to physically trade time for money. You are earning enough passive income to be able to take care of your living expenses. So have that level, whether anything happened to the paid employment or any other thing you are doing, or you decide to want to be on cruise for the next 2 years, you are still earning well and you're still able to take care of your expenses and living that quality life. That said, I want to talk about some concepts that is very fascinating when we are talking about destination. I haven't set the background that how your hustler rate is a function of distance between 2 points. This is your DSF, this is your CFS, and the gap in between. You need strategies and action plan to propel you there. So, in doing this, your destination really matters. Of course, if I'm probably traveling to, let's say, Chicago from, let's say I'm traveling from Winnipeg, Manitoba to Chicago, Illinois. The kind of distance that I want to cover, let's say it's approximately about 1,500 kilometers. It will determine the kind of so many preparation I will take, the type of car I want to use. In fact, it will start from the mode of that transportation. I'll probably not be thinking about biking down to cover 1,500 kilometers. Hell no. In fact, the type of car that I want to travel with, I will ensure that it is the most comfortable car, if possible, sport utility vehicles. And it will also determine the kind of route I want to use. Because I'm covering a lot of distance, if Google is telling me that there are some toll roads that will save me about 2 hours, I wouldn't probably mind paying that extra $10 or $20 to save myself that 2 hours of traveling journey, because I will save on time and I will also save on gas, even the mileage. Do you know that all of those decisions that I'm taking in between is because of my distance? The distance I have to cover is because of my destination. If my destination is probably to cover between um, just about 2 streets away, which is a 5 minutes drive, like who cares? Who cares about all of those preparation? And that's the reason you see some people live a very carefree life. There are no plans regarding their finances. They sleep, they wake up. They are not, I mean, everything that is happening to their finances, they are just recipients. They are onlookers. They are not taking anything by intentionality. That's because their destination is pretty, like, sorry to say, they might just not be going anywhere far. But if you have that fascinating dream and you know that where you are currently is far away, then you've got to roll up the sleeve and do the work. Recall that I said that there are no two individual journey that is different. Do you know that if you have two 40-year-old adults and they both desire to probably retire with $2 million, by the way, the country that I live in, for you to be able to conveniently retire and not run out of money, you need between 1.6 to $1.7 million. If we have two 40-year-old men that desire retirement and they need retirement fund of 200 of 2 million, the first one can have leverage that, oh, the parent left some estate for him, he's been doing investments since he was 18. Let's say the other 40-year-old is just a new immigrant just arriving into town, no leverage from parents. He has mortgage. The other one have finished paying his mortgage at 37, right? The other one is just acquiring mortgage at 40. Do you know that even if they have the same outlook, that destination is shorter for one than the other one? So your destination sets your speed. The other one might have that started working at 18. He has, that's almost about 22 years of pension fund. Maybe he works in a place that they give them pension, that have been working through compounding effects. And the other one is just coming in. So the distance he needs to cover, he will need to do more work. He will needs to be intentional about the kind of vehicle he will use in building his wealth. So your destination determines your route. Such individual, I mean, just not just one road. You won't be that person that will be saying that, oh, I will probably be saving $100 per month. You need additional source of income. You need multiple channels of income because you have a longer distance to cover. So you need some leverage in your journey to be able to meet up with your destination. Your destination will affect your risk appetite, where you are headed, where you are going. There's some highway that you can't get to and you say that you are doing 80. No, you're on fast track. You've got to move. So your risk appetite needs to be sharper. And that's how it works in the area and the domain of finances. Without destination, I would like to tell you that speed is totally wasted. It's worthless. If you don't have the idea of where you are headed, where you are going, you can probably be driving 5 miles away and you are doing 140. Like it's totally meaningless. It doesn't make sense. But if you have like 1,000 kilometers ahead to cover, oh, that's the time you want to max out. You want to move faster. And that's the reason you will see some people, if they are not going anywhere, what is that? What's that thing propelling them? There is no motivation to actually go do bigger things. The speed is totally worthless. That said, we will be simulating for the next couple of slides, I think about 8 to 10 slides, the concept of money speedometer. We'll be using, I know a lot of people on this call, you drive, you love cars, you can easily relate with some of these concepts. So there's a framework that I built around speedometer, whenever I'm having conversation around accelerating finance. And before we dive right into the different levels of speedometer, I want you to do a very quick activity. Pick up your bank statements. If you can log in into your mobile banking, check the 5 months that you have the highest income. The highest income. Just tick, 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 tick. So those 5 months, add them together and simply divide by 5. It's very simple. I will explain to you the trick behind it. Again, accounting is very simple, finance is simple. So let's demystify it. The reason why we are adding 5 months together and dividing by 5 is because we are trying to get, like, we know that there are volatility between the 5 months. Some might be 4,000, some might be 14,000, some might. So for reasonability and comparability, we had the 5 together, we divide by the same 5 so that just we can get the average highest income you had for the last 12 months. So do a little exercise. That average is your current baseline. Set a new baseline for yourself. Set a new baseline. Let's say the current is 10. You might want to move towards 15. Make sure you write it down, whether in your physical journal or your electronic notes. Your current may be 40 and your outlook must be maybe 50. Just make sure you write it down. Moving on. I'll be taking us through about 7 levels of the money reality of most people. And the very first level is the level of financial dependence. If anybody falls in that level, you are literally in a packed status. Your speedometer is hovering around 0 to 10 kilometers. And do you know the interesting thing? When you talk about level 1, people easily just feel that, oh, these are people just starting life, maybe just coming out of high school, maybe just coming out of grad school, maybe just no. In fact, you might have, and I will give you a practical example. In a couple of years back or months back, you might have been probably in level 3 or 4, and something happened, especially life transitioning can take you back to level 1, which is the reason I need you to be very sensitive and pay attention to this. And some of those transitions could be divorce. It could be, for some people, when they start having children, mostly women are affected by this. Maybe if you suddenly need to become a stay-at-home mom to be able to nurture your child. Or even if you relocate to another country. Before you relocate, maybe you are earning very well, you have two cars, you are living in your house, and suddenly you immigrate to this new country and you have to put up with your cousin for the next 3 months. And you are relying on him, on that your cousin, for feeding, for accommodation, is the one paying utility. Transitioning at that point in time have put you at level one. Why do you need to realize this? Because a lot of people will use their past status in their former life to take financial decision. It will be chaotic. The realization of your current level on your money speedometer will help you to know that there are some financial decisions you need not to be taken at that level of your life because you are literally in a past status. Nobody cares that in the other economy that you were making a lot of money, you were a big man. But currently, how are you doing? Like I said, it mostly also affects women. Probably you have a fantastic job and you take a decision that for the next 5 years you want to be able to raise your kid and you will be a stay-at-home mom, and now you have to rely on your husband. He's the sole provider for the family. So every every expenses is on his table. And it can also be the other way around. We have some stay-at-home dad also, but it's just mostly common with women. So at that point in time, your money speedometer is at standstill. Like I said, there is no serious movement happening there. And the next level is the level of financial survival. Suddenly in that new country, you got a job, but it's nothing too fancy, what we call survivor job. At that point in time, you're beginning to earn something that at least can take care of your basic expenses. You're able to pay your rent, you're able to pay for your food and utilities. And but at that level, there's nothing left to be able to save. And so you are very vulnerable to any emergency. If anything happens, suddenly your phone got stolen, it's you're in crisis because you don't like, especially if you don't even have insurance, you're exposed to any form of contingency that comes your way. So your speedometer at that level is on low idle. You're moving, but barely. You had really barely moving. And that's the reason you see most people at the level of financial survivor, they'll say they're barely surviving because really they're barely moving. Then comes to level three, where you're beginning to feel a sense of comfort in a way, financial stability begin to kick in, and your speedometer at that level is between 60 to 80. And a whole lot of people, when they get to this level, unfortunately, they think they are in their Eldorado. No, you're not there yet. And most middle class begin to have that sense of achievement and accomplishment because consistent income is coming in, is able to cover for expenses here and there. There are few savings and investment there, drive here and there. You begin to knock off consumer debts, and if care's not taken, that steady cruise, you can land into a lot of chaotic situation because you are now beginning to think that you are in charge of your finances. But unfortunately, your finances is not totally independent. It is still largely dependent on some external factors that if anything happen, you are totally exposed. Let's see level four, which is the level of financial security. I think for anyone on this call, I would say that even if your desire is not to get to the ultimate level seven, but let the starting point be at least financial security, where you can approach finances with confidence. Have you seen any confident driver probably driving you? They can be multitasking and doing four things at the same time, and they are navigating their way pretty well. They are driving, some of them even sometimes, and I'm not saying that this is a healthy driving tip or not, but I'm just using this to simulate how confident driver can. They're vibing to songs, they're listening to the song, vibing, driving, drinking maybe water or juice or whatever, because they understand the terrain and the driving ethics. They know how to negotiate the bumpy road. They are in charge. And that's how it is in the area of finance. When you get to level 4, you have solid emergency fund, you're able to manage debt adequately, you have some investments that you can fall back on if anything at all. You are feeling more in control. And definitely at that level, you have less financial stress. You understand the kind of financial decision that you can take that resonates with your risk appetite. So your speedometer hits a very comfortable cruising speed because you have a well regulated money rules that are propelling you towards wealth. Again, remember, if your ultimate is not to go all the way to level 7, I tell people the minimum that you need, because we all have to be financially secured. I mean, if not anything, just be financially secured. No one would love to be exposed. But let's see what level 5 is saying, which is a level of financial independence. Your speedometer is at 120 to 140 kilometers per hour. Guy, you are on the fast lane. You are really on the fast lane. You have investments and assets generating enough to cover living costs. You have freedom to reduce traditional work hours and even stop working, because at that level, you have enough assets, right? Cash generating assets. There's some people that they have mechanical equipment, like tractors, elevators, that are generating passive income for them. There are people that have rental equipment, maybe agricultural equipment, mechanical equipment, or even part rental equipment. Whether you are there or not, those equipment are working for you. People are listening. People have lands that are on lease. So if you're that kind of person that have attained financial independence, your portfolio in stock is working for you, dividend stocks. Maybe you even have rented properties. So at that level, whether you work or you do not work, you have assets. Your assets are your leverage that are bringing in those money. And digital assets also belongs to this category. There are some people that with their digital assets, whether they are still physically working or not, they are going to be making income till thy kingdom come. Isn't that awesome? Is somebody trying to build a similar kind of wealth framework? Right. It is definitely achievable if you are ready to put in the work. So, level 6 is where we have financial freedom. And it really becomes pretty interesting at this level. I tell you, you're on the open highway. You can, like, you know, cruise ahead. Wealth allows flexibility and choice in lifestyle at this level. And it's the level where you begin to see that money is not the major motivator for people at that level. They are thinking about what resonates with their life. When you see coaches and some top people that are consultants telling you that my 1 hour is just coaching hour is for $500,000, and you're thinking that how on earth will I even pay $500,000 to hire you just for 1 hour? The truth of the matter is that at that level, their flexibility for people at that level is much more important to them than that physical cash, because there are 10,000 and other things that they can use, that they can do to make that 500,000 in that 1 hour without committing to you. So that's the kind of level you get to at the level of financial freedom. You kind of like cherish your flexibility and you being in control of your time, multiple income streams, and strong financial reserve. A financial reserve is like, and I mean, it's not only corporate organizations, banks that can keep reserve. As individual, you can have access to reserve, where you have enough money to be able to take care of life situations. Like I said, if you have about 1.6 to $1.7 million in retirement for you to be able to nicely retire, I mean, and you are drawing a certain percentage that is beyond what do we call the return on investment, you would definitely be good. You will be good. So your speedometer at that level is in overdrive. You have the freedom to explore and to create. And that is the flexibility that comes for people at that level. And the last level, which I believe that I have people on the call that we want to go there together, which is a level of financial abundance. We are in limitless horizon. You have significant wealth, and at that level, you are mostly involved with passion projects, philanthropy work, legacy building. You have enough money that your concern is not how you are going to personally run out of money. You're putting together your wills and your estate to be able to see how your money can serve the future generation coming, how you can write and design the financial journey for even the generation ahead that you might not be able to witness. Those are the kind of things that your money is doing for you at that level. Money serves for purpose without limit at that level. And like I said, that your speedometer is maxed out, limitless speed and opportunity. So how do you achieve any of this speedometer level that you think resonate with you? Remember, like I said, I don't believe there is anybody on this call that should be settling from level 1 to 3. It might be your starting point, but please don't settle there. At least start considering something between level 4 to 7. So you need all of this. You have to consider what level you are using. Like I said, not everybody can get rich. In fact, not so much people can get, if you're not a reckless spender, you can't get rich solely by spending, except you are that person that you've been eating your future in spending. So the way around it is that one of the levers that you can think of is to increase your income streams. You can definitely also control spending here and there if you feel that you are a shopaholic, or you're somebody that you have extreme passion for luxury item. A lot of people have designer bag, but they don't have investment, portfolio investment or real estate investment uh, to speak for it. Yeah, they might also say that it's some form of investment, but I'm not sure of how much value you can take out of those things maybe in a couple of years down the ladder. I'm not sure of their appreciation um, level. Some of them will even be subject to, fashion also changed. You can't be bringing a Prada of 15 years ago and be trying to trade on it, and you're expecting to have the same value. So, not that any of those things are not great, but we are saying that, yeah, you can control spending here and there, but the major thing is how to go build more income stream, eliminate debt quickly. I always like to stress, if you're somebody that you want to use the lever of eliminating debt, please focus more on consumer debt, because debt in itself is not totally bad. You can use it as a leverage to actually build wealth. I've seen some incredible guys that have used line of credit to be able to build their real estate flipping business. So again, if you really know what you are doing, you can use debt as a leverage in also building wealth. So for the purpose of this, I would say that look at consumer debt as the one that you want to take care of quickly. Then again, it might be that you want to be able to protect and insure, right? Another lever might be your ability to be able to transfer wealth to the next generation. So how do we get our hands dirty in doing all of these things together, understanding the speedometer, and also which lever am I going to use to be able to propel me towards the wealth? So it's the power of 90 days acceleration plan, and also understanding that you can have this wave up to 4 times in a year. And why 90 days? I think there's been a lot of fascinating conversation about how 90 days is very transformational, is very is very impactful. And you can take an example from the fact that most organizations report, financial report comes out every 3 months. The biological clock also when women take in is also around 90 days. And also season, especially some of us that we live in the country that has first visible weather in the year, the winter, the spring, the summer, and the fall, also come in that window of 90 days. So there is a whole lot of research as to how 90 days is enough time for you to be able to take a shift and a leap if you put that focal laser focus into existence. So the first thing that I would say you consider is, first of all, diagnose your current finances, like we said, understand where you are. And again, you have to be able to identify your financial acceleration lever. What are you actually aiming at? Are you trying to increase income? Are you trying to reduce debt? You also need to pick about 1 to 2 levers to focus on per season. There isn't really any wisdom in you packing about 10 levers. I always tell people, if possible, just take one, focus on one, maximum of two. Because if you pack about 10 things within 90 days and you can't achieve it, it's going to give you that stress, it's going to make you overwhelmed. And at the end of the day, it will look like everything we are saying is theory. Take one or two, achieve that, win in that. Once you win in that, then you can now go to other things and also achieve win over there. Then, of course, you want to be able to track your result. You want to be able to review and also adjust over time, such that I will say that for your finances within that 90-day cycle, don't even wait till 90 days before you begin to track every 30 days to be able to see what you can improve on within the cycle of 90 days. It's like a continuous improvement measure. If you are doing a 90 days between January and March, for example, at the end of January, see what things are looking at the end of February. Don't wait till the end of March so that you can review, adjust, and see areas that you can be able to um, adjust things to work in your favor. That said, your 90-day reality check is enough to see you through a real progress, and it is yet a short time to be able to keep you on focus. Because if you're on like 2 year plan, you're gonna get to a level that you get bored, you don't even have that momentum and that strength to put forward. So 90 days is a long enough period to be able to see you through a real progress, and also a short enough period to keep you on that laser focus. So what are the next steps ahead? I would say take what you have learned in this blueprint. Remember that at the beginning I told you, and I encourage you, make sure you do a lot of notes, all those assessments that you have done, your current baseline, the desired baseline, from where you want to move to where you the current one, that you are on the 5,000 to your desire of moving to 50,000. All of those things, they are like your lessons learned that you're gonna go back to over and over again to be able to see how you can get into action mode. The next step that I would encourage you to do is that be ready to register for our Money Mastery Masterclass for an hands-on transformation. The truth of the matter is that people listen to a lot of webinar masterclasses. In fact, a lot of people consume information, YouTube, Google, everywhere. But I don't believe that most people's problem is actually knowledge acquisition. Most of the time, it's taking those actions. So you see people being really high in knowledge acquisition quotient, but when it comes to implementation, pretty low. So what we are trying to do for you in Money Mastery Masterclass is to be able to use that power of community, and also that plan, that 90-day circle plan, to be able to help you take that shift. Yeah. And for you to be able to create that line in the sand, the line beyond which you will, you have to be able to leap to the other side. So in the 90 days, you'll be able to implement your money reset plan, and we'll be able to guide you through a lot of healthy money habits that you need, that can propel you to where you want to be. Remember that I said earlier that that distance between the point A and the point B, huh? To be able to feel it, It is a function of the actions that you're taking, the strategies, and the plan. So you will also be able to plant yourself within a community of a world builder, which, there is nothing like you being within the right community, the people that speak the same language as to where you are headed, the people that kind of like challenge you, like to be able to do awesome things. One of the projects that we have done in this year in the world community that I'm privileged to lead is that we've been able to land bank about 32 people on 18 acres of land somewhere in North America. We're doing awesome things. So, and these are people like you and I, people that goes to office regularly, and they're able to do awesome things. So, and those are the kind of news of fantastic things that we are doing in the community. And once you hop on the registration for money mastery masterclass, that will also give you an eligibility to be able to be part of the community. So, what is the structure for Money Mastery Masterclass? It is actually a guided course with 90 days implementation plan. It's a pre-recorded um, masterclass and session that enables you to be able to learn at your pace, right? The masterclass actually is designed in such a practical way that you can relate to anything from the most simplified way, right? There is no technical language there. There isn't any technical jargons. We are talking about everyday money moves. And it's so designed with realistic, practical, and results driven approach. So it's a course that I can tell you that you will personally enjoy. And the way we have packaged the course is to be able to help you remember that action is what we are looking at. We just don't want to sit down and listen. So, apart from the course itself, which I can tell you is valued at $299, we also have a workbook that will help you to be able to simulate your actions. In addition to the workbook, which itself is valued at $97, we have a 90-day money reset roadmap that is going to tell you what action to take each day within the 90 days. And that is the power of that laser focus. Then you have access to all sessions, recordings, access to the Money Mastery community that worth about $299. So you're walking away with a value of about $941. But if you are on this webinar today, you definitely have a huge bonus of just enlisting as a standard delegate for $79 just on this webinar. Just on this webinar. And if you like to take things further to register as a VIP candidate, definitely you can register. And that will be for $129 just for people on this call. So it's snapshot of what you will get as a standard delegate, and also some extra tips for the VIP delegates. It's about 4 powerful modules that have been put together for the standard, and the delegate has 6 powerful modules. There are 2 extra modules that is a little bit advanced and is packaged for the VIP delegates. Definitely, like I told you, you will have your worksheets, the accountability schedule. Then you'll be able to do some Q&A support also. Then the access to the community. A little bit of the difference between the VIP and the standard delegate. VIP delegate will have access to be able to have peer growth partner to stay accountable. Not everybody can work alone. Some people like, in fact, I tell people you can do life alone sometimes. You might just need like an accountability partner. We'll put some framework together to be able to see maybe people that you are in the same time zone, people that you are in the same um risk appetites, that you can tap into one another, that you can always check what is happening, what can I do better, like your goal partner or growth accountability kind of a person. There will also be a complimentary coaching session for the VIP candidates where I'm going to be appearing live on Zoom. Yeah, we'll sit down like this and we'll be able to take several many questions together, and it's going to be literally like a party. I tell you, we'll be learning, we'll be immersing, and we'll be having fantastic time together. I will also be available for advanced questions and deeper insight via email to the VIP candidates. So, to join the course today, all you just need to do is to look through the chat box and also be able to click on the registration link. Remember that you have an awesome discount. This is incredibly discounted for everyone on the call for you to be able to hop on that special price. Spots are limited, I must say, pretty limited, and your financial resets it begins now. You don't want to delay it. You want to hop on a hit now. You want to, you know, put the whole action to work like immediately. Just make sure that you click the sign up button, secure your seats. Especially for the VIP candidates, I have very limited spots for you people, because in group coaching I also there's a limited number. I love to keep things to so that we can have all the interactions. The breakout sessions can be kept compact and really engaging. So because of that, you want to be able to do that as soon as possible. And this link will only be available, the discount link will only be available for a very limited time. So don't blame me in a couple of days if you are seeing this price triple, looking triple or more than that. I think it's just a way of appreciating everybody that have hopped on this webinar today. And I look forward to connecting with you all in the masterclass, where I will also be able to take all of your questions that you have dropped in the chat box. Sorry, today is a packed session. We won't be able to get into that, but definitely some of the questions I will be grouping them. I know we might have some repetition here and there, but I will group them into major areas, and I will be sending those responses to you via email. And some of them, if you're in VIP class, will be able to have the opportunity of chatting with them and having fantastic conversations. So until I come your way again in the Money Mastery Masterclass, continue those money moves. Thank you.